I'll start with actually our most popular feature, which is a daily email that we send. So this email you can in your inbox every morning, and our customers and users really love it. A lot of them open it every single day and consider it kind of the most important email in their inbox because it's really, a few things that you should really focus on today. It's just 5 things that are really important, really timely for your company, given everything we know about the threats out there. So I'm going to zoom in here. The Daily Advisor is super actionable, things that you can do right away based on data that you have in Fletch and the threats that are most timely. And you can jump into Fletch to see all the details. And then we have prioritized alerts. We kind of group them by telling you what the threat is about, but then how many CVs, how many resources you have, and all of that information you can then find in Fletch again. And then forecasted threats. These are very timely, very early threats that are coming for companies just like you, so you can be ahead and have that peace of mind. So from this email, the product is a bit more exciting than the email, but you can see kind of the same things on the homepage. So this is, again, the Daily Advisor. And if we look at this one, for example, threat boards for us are really where you can find all the information about this threat and how it matters to you. So here you can see all the different correlation points, we call them. So all the CVs that were coming from Defender and have to do with this threat. And, these we prioritized for you. The technologies in common, sometimes your industry if it's being targeted. You can see a summary. Our customers really like their citations from vetted sources, and these summaries are always updated. You can also see the history. Because we track these threats as they evolve, this is kind of the most timely, most complete information of what the threat is doing today as opposed to, a month ago. Going down, we have our expert advice. This is things that you can do short-term, immediately, as well as long-term, so that threats like this don't impact you in the future. And these are all correlated, again, with the data that you have in Fletch. So you'll see here things that have to do with the technologies that you use or best practices and things we have further in the roadmap. This kind of can become a record for you of best practices you do follow and how that lowers your risk to some threats. And then we also help you communicate with folks in your company. We actually generate these audiences based on who we think you might want to communicate with. So here we think that, you might communicate with your leadership team. And obviously our customers kind of customize this a bit, but this is a great starting point to help you move quicker and just have these messages ready when you want to share and build that trust with your company that you're on top of threats. And then finally, these are the prioritized alerts. So in this case, you can see we prioritize 3 CVs that all have to do with this threat. And you can see the resources for each CV or any other view. We're working on APIs to be able to give you all of this information through an API. And then, you would use that in your prioritization processes. Going back to the prioritized alerts. So these are kind of all your prioritized alerts. You can see them broken by severity. And the severity for us is very timely as well. So this is the severity right now. You will notice that this changes over time. And the other interesting thing is that we group CVs, right? So you can see here 6 CVs, 3 CVs. So these are really, we prioritize alerts as well as put them in context for your company, right? We group them and give you all the context about the threat and how those CVs are being exploited, as well as what to do about them. And then forecasted threats is kind of where we are even more proactive. We're showing you things that you don't have CVs yet in common, maybe, but they're coming for the technologies or the industries that you're in or your geos. And you can see that here we also have a scoring. This scoring is actually a measure of the likelihood of you being impacted based on the technologies and industries and geos that you have in common. So similar thing, you can see here what to do about it. And this is all about getting you ahead of threats, right? So that you can protect even before your bone scanner is updated. So for prioritized alerts, obviously you need to connect, your bone scanner. And as Grant mentioned, we are working on APIs that would allow you to kind of put prioritizer in your workflows. However, you have those vulnerability alerts and just prioritize right there. Forecaster, however, is really easy to get started with. So this is a new workspace that I just created, and this is the forecasted threats section. And you can just start by adding technologies that you care about. So we have some suggestions here, and as you add them, do this, yeah. So as we add them, you can see that these are the forecasted threats right now. So all of these have low likelihood, meaning that what we see in terms of trending of these threats going after Cisco is kind of low likelihood, but we still think they're somewhat relevant. And then you can add whatever else from this list that might be relevant to you. The more technologies you add, the more forecasts you will see, and we always prioritize them by likelihood and make sure that the timeliest stuff is at the top. So a lot of our customers add quite a few technologies here, but then they trust Fletch that, it's always prioritized. So basically going down the list here is still getting you to deal with the threats that matter to you most. So you can see I added a few here. And then the threat boards, as we call them, always give you the same kind of information I was showing before. So in this case, you only have a technology in common, but the same summary, advice, and communications features can help you get ahead of these. I can also show you guys Ask Fletch. So Ask Fletch is kind of our free form for more advanced users who do have specific questions that they care about. You can just ask them in here. This is the same forecasting engine that basically supports this. And the really cool thing about this is that it has the timeliest information for threats as opposed to the other LLMs out there that have outdated information when it comes to threat intel because they're always developing events, as well as some LLMs out there kind of refuse to answer cybersecurity threats, right? If they mistake you for an attacker. And the coolest thing is that we always include advice. So just like you see here, a lot of our forecasting and threat knowledge has actionable advice kind of baked in. And it always comes from vetted sources, as well as a lot of our proprietary knowledge on how you mitigate, how you remediate threats. So the really cool thing about our Ask Fletch is that you don't have to do all the heavy prompting to get even basic advice. You instead always kind of get it by default whenever you ask something where we think you might need advice on what to do.
I would love to show how easy it is to connect data to Fletch because this prioritization is really powerful. But a lot of people say, okay, it's great. The problem is it's like connecting my data and normalizing and getting into your system is hard. Well, we spend a lot of time making it easy. Go ahead and like click any one of those and show them how easy it is.
Yeah,
Click
so I'll just go with Defender. You can always invite your admin to do it for you, but assuming you are the admin, we have documentation in terms of how to create the different tokens that you need to connect this platform, and then you would basically just put them in here. So it's all about creating those secrets with the right permissions, and then that's it. So validating the key takes a few seconds, and then we start pulling data. It takes about 24 hours for us to validate the connection is right, and then we pull data continuously after that.
Thank you, Andrea. The whole point there is this is super easy to use. We went out of our way to make this so teams can deploy it in minutes to try to see like, whoa, these things can be this easy. Also, adding team members is super easy too. We get this all the time. Like, well, we're a team of 20. Add them like you would to Slack. Much easier than other products that you've seen out there. And then they can come in and they can start triaging with you. People like to use this as their first stop every single morning. That email gets a massive open rate because it's personalized to you. And this is how it kind of looks in the setup phase, huh?
Yeah, so this is the new workspace I created.
There we go. How it looks for us is there's real data. One thing we do as well is there's a lot of SaaS apps, and that's a growing part of the organization. And so when people connect to Microsoft Enter ID, you can start seeing the humans, and you can click on one of our threat boards, Andrea, and you'll see like these are the actual people at Fletch using that product. See, there's 4 humans there.
Yeah.
This is also another cool part that is kind of handled by a SIM today, but it's a lot of work in a SIM. This is also plug and play. Connect your Enter ID, and you know the humans at your company who are actually using a given product. And so that could be very useful to you, and it's included. It doesn't cost any extra. It tells you the SaaS surprises and helps you understand that stuff.